Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for winning Super Bowl 60. Welcome back to Catch Casual, where we're going to do a quick, instant reaction to the Super Bowl that just happened. And honestly, the Seahawks, that defense, we obviously knew the Seahawks defense was really good, but just watching what they did to New England, it was one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. And before we talk about the Seahawks, just want to say the Patriots had an amazing season. I know there's all the talk about how easy their schedule was, how easy their playoff run was. Regardless, it's not easy to win in the NFL, especially a team like the Patriots who had like four wins the previous season. It's not easy to make it to the Super Bowl, regardless of who you play. Any given Sunday, teams can win, teams can lose. So it was still a very, very impressive season for the Patriots. I think they gained a lot of experience this season, a lot of valuable experience in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl that can help them later on next season, maybe even when they try and get back to this spot. But it was still a great season for the Patriots. Mike Vrabel had a great year, Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel, and Drake May had a great second year. It didn't end the way they wanted it to. Obviously, this was not a good performance for the Patriots offense. But overall, I think it was a very successful season for the Patriots. Now, back to the Seahawks. Again, this was one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. This Patriots offense had been pretty decent and pretty good this season, and they just completely shut that down. They had 6 sacks, which I think is like one of the most in a Super Bowl. They had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. They had another forced fumble. They had a they had a bunch of close interceptions. They had 2 interceptions actually on Drake May. The one where he just, I don't know, that first interception that Drake May threw, I don't know what he was doing. I guess in Nwosu's counted as an interception. To me that was more of like a fumble touchdown for Nwosu. But Julian Love's interception, I don't know what Drake May was doing. He just kind of just threw that thing up. But they were getting so much pressure on him. Witherspoon had a great game getting pressure on the quarterback. Derek Hall had 2 sacks. Um, Demarcus Lawrence got in there. They just completely shut down the Patriots offense, and they couldn't do anything until the fourth quarter when the game was kind of already out of reach. The only the only bad drive the Seahawks defense had was the Patriots' first touchdown drive, where Drake May had that big scramble. Then he had those 2 completions to Matt Collins. But honestly, the first one, there's not much you can really do it if you're the Seahawks defense there. That was just a perfect throw from Drake May. And the second, it was because Wolin was like out of position. He had the sprint to guard Matt Collins, and Matt Collins had the separation and the position, and Drake May threw a good ball. That was the only real bad defensive drive the Seahawks had because the other touchdown they gave up, the game was basically over. They played perfect football outside of that one drive, and it didn't end up mattering. I mean, JSN didn't do anything. Sam Darnold didn't really do anything. When it came to the Seahawks offense, it was all Kenneth Walker, who will probably get Super Bowl MVP, I imagine. They haven't announced that the game just ended. Honestly, if it wasn't for Kenneth Walker, I think you could give it to Jason Myers with his 13 points that he had as a kicker, or 17 points that he had as a kicker, but also maybe a guy like Witherspoon or Derek Hall, but they're probably going to give it to Kenneth Walker, I imagine. He was really their only good player on offense. I mean, Sam Darnold was good, and not necessarily statistically. When it came to just avoiding, because the Patriots defense played really well, they got a ton of pressure as well on Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold made so many. He forced so many missed sacks this game. Like they would get instant pressure. Milton Williams had a chance to sack him like once or twice, and he just made him miss. So that was huge for Seattle. But outside of that, it was really just the Kenneth Walker show. before they even had offense, towards like in the second half, it was just Kenneth Walker. It was his like 30-yard run he had. He had another like 20-plus-yard run. But outside of Kenneth Walker, Sam Darnold avoiding some sacks, the Seahawks offense didn't do anything, and they didn't need to do anything. Their defense scored 6 points for them, and the Patriots only ended up with 13. It was just a, it was an insanely impressive game from this Seahawks defense. I can't say enough about the Seahawks defense. I mean, I thought going into this game that it was going to be really tough for this Patriots O line who has struggled. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, the two rookies. It hadn't been a great postseason for New England's offensive line. Now, granted, they played the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos, and now the Seahawks. But instantly, you saw the mismatch that was Seattle's D line versus New England's offensive line. The, the best player for New England was probably um, Christian Gonzalez. They said it on the broadcast a couple times because you saw he had 3 pass deflections. He saved the deep ball to Rashid Shaheed that ended up that Seattle had to end up settling for a field goal on that drive. He saved a touchdown on a breakup that was thrown to JSN, where he could have also picked that off. That forced another Seattle field goal. If Christian Gonzalez was not on this team, I think the Seahawks would have won by like 40, to be honest, maybe 30. Like he saved potentially 14 points on his own. He was their best player by far. Bill Williams was getting pressure, as I said, and he ended up with 1 sack, but he could have had like 3 or 4. Matt Collins obviously had the touchdown catch and also that catch on that really good Drake May throw. I think Drake May should have been able. Now, it was really hard for him to scramble, but we've noticed this all season, especially postseason, that when Drake May is scrambling, I feel like the team is at their best. You really saw it in that Chargers game because their offense couldn't really do that much against the Chargers. But Drake May was really scrambling, and that really helped the offense out. And I feel like when he had the big scramble. Then he had the two big throws on their first touchdown drive. When he can scramble, I feel like that opens up the offense so much. But he just didn't have time. People weren't getting open. He didn't have his best game. I'm not going to say Drake May played good. He did not play that great. He looked like a quarterback in his second year in the NFL. It wasn't a great game. But Grant, he was not put in a position to succeed whatsoever because that Seattle defense is insane. There's honestly not really much to talk about with this game outside of just constantly praising the Seahawks defense, the job Mike Macdonald did, and all that. So this is definitely going to be a quick recap because again, there's not much to really talk about. Seattle's defense just dominated New England the entire time, and I think they're set up to have another successful season the next year, maybe even go back to back, reignite the Seattle Seahawks dynasty. Let me know your thoughts on this Super Bowl, on Super Bowl 60. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.